Um, in case anybody doesn't recognize me behind the mask, I'm Steve Talmadge. I'm the events coordinator for the club. And with me today is Lynn. Lynn is the owner of the detail garage. And we're standing in her showroom at the moment. She's going to take us through some of the products and some of the things that they have available to use. And I want to beg everybody's tolerance here. This is the first time we've done this, so if we experience any technical glitches, please forgive us. We're doing the best we can, but I think we're in for an exciting session here this morning. Lynn?
All right, thanks, Steve. Appreciate everyone joining in. Thank you very much for coming to me. We love doing these types of seminars, especially for catering to special cart groups and cart clubs. So thank you guys for asking us to host this for you. We're gonna do a couple of things today that Steve and Tim have brought to my attention. One is we're gonna go through how to do properly clay bar card. And then another one, because it is Miata, you know, there's a majority of Miatas that are convertibles. We're going to walk through how to properly clean the convertible top, and then I'll talk about how to condition it. We won't be able to do conditioning, but I'll at least be able to talk about it and show you some of the products we have available so you can protect your fabric convertible top. We can also do the same cleaning and different types of protection for a vinyl top. Many Miata have vinyl tops. So with that said, we are Detail Garage. I have 3 stores in the Valley right now. Today we are filming from our Mesa locations. This is also our location that we host all of our classes. I do training classes, kind of like what we're doing here for the Miata Club. Mesa's our main location. We have one out in Avondale off the I-10 and Dysart, and we have one up north in North Phoenix off the West Bell and I-17. So we pretty much got a good coverage of the Valley. A close store, close, you know, is always going to be close to you. We also have expert team. All of our team has been trained by myself, and they're very, very experienced and very knowledgeable of all the products and the steps and everything that we have here in the store to help make your passion shine. So I was telling Steve and the guys here before we got on cameras, all of our stores are set up the same. It's all set up to our detailing flow chart. So you're going to have a wash section, you're going to have a wheel section, you're going to have a cleaning section, you'll have a compound polish block, waxes, and then detail sprays. And then our final section is our equipment where we have polishers and foam cannons and bucking pads as well. So again, if you have any questions, definitely come into any of the detail garages and we will be able to walk through anything you have a question on. If you have a certain thing or an issue on your car, we'd love to see it before we can advise you. It'd be best if we can physically see it. And we'll go from there. So let's go on back and learn how to clay bar.
Thanks, Lynn.
So as you can see, as you come back, this is our classroom. This is where I actually do the classes, and then over in our warehouses, we do some lab sessions where we actually do some paint correction on hoods and do any other type of detailing sort of thing. So one of the things that I think, one of the first things that Tim asked me is that, you know, guys really want to know how to clay bar. Clay barring is nothing new, but it's something new to the average Joe. As far as people think clay bar, they're like, I'm not going to put a piece of clay in my car. You know, I thought the same thing too back when I first learned how to clay bar.
Lynn, sorry about that. Is it possible, and I know that this is a little difficult, because of the mask and everything, it's difficult for people to understand you. And I'm wondering if you're far enough away and safe enough to do that.
Yeah, as long as everyone else stays a distance, I'm good with that. So is that better?
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. So one of the first things, the reason why we clay bar the car is because we want to decontaminate the clear coat. And believe it or not, your clear coat surface is like your skin. There's pores. And after a time, after so long, your pores get clogged. And what clay bar does, it actually exfoliates the pores out of your clear coat and removes all those contaminants. And a really good indication, and it's kind of like one of those aha, I gotcha moments, is when you actually touch the surface of your car and you feel it feels kind of grainy, it feels kind of rough feeling to your hand. You're definitely has contamination in it, and that's what clay bar does. So clay bar is going to definitely pull out all those contaminants and get it totally ready for either doing any kind of paint correction, applying a glaze seal, or wax. And anytime you want to do any of those 4 things, where you're doing paint correction, applying a glaze seal, or wax, you must clay bar the car. If not, what you're gonna do, well, if you're gonna compound and polish, you're gonna grind all those contaminants into your clear coat, and you're not gonna cause more scratches than you are gonna do any kind of correction. If you do a glaze seal and wax on top of the contamination, you are now locking in those contaminants into the clear coat. And what it'll do over time is that those contaminants will embed itself and morph into your clear coat. And that's when you see a lot of that yellow oxidation, the hazing, and actually chipping and peeling off the car. That's what happens when A, cars aren't protected, and B, when the contaminants aren't being removed from your clear coat. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna demonstrate how to do a waterless wash, because you definitely, even though this car looks great and it looks clean, we definitely want to get any dust that accumulated when we drove over here, or if it sat overnight. We definitely don't want to have any of that dust on the surface, because it will scratch the car. Now, one of the things that we're asked is we got a variety of different clay bars. We have a light clay bar. It's going to be in our blue package. We have our yellow clay bar. It's called our OG clay bar. This is pretty much your go-to clay bar for most cases. I have a medium grade, and I have a heavy grade. And the reason why we have these different grades of clay bar is how much of contamination is going to pull out of your clear coat. So say, for example, your neighbor down the street had his house painted, and you got overspray on your car. You're most likely going to use either a medium or a heavy clay bar to remove that overspray, because it's going to pull that overspray out of your clear coat more effectively than if you try to use an OG or a light bar. Because remember, we want to do as less rubbing on the car as we can, so let's use the best clay that's possible. If you bought a brand new car, this is very important. For everyone who bought a brand new car, everyone thinks, oh, I don't need to do anything, I just bought my car. More importantly, your clear coat has probably more contamination on it from a brand new car straight out of the dealership off the lot than anything else, because it got rail dust and all kinds of contaminations during the transport, and then it sat on the dealer lot for who knows how long. And of course, they're just gonna run it through a wash and wipe it off, and not gonna do a good clay bar. So I definitely recommend, when you buy a brand new car, first thing I do when I buy a brand new car is I tell the dealer, don't touch it, peel the plastic off, don't wash it, don't do anything. I'm gonna take it home, I'm gonna clay bar and put my protection layers on. So if you buy a brand new car, OG bar is all you're gonna need. Again, come into the store, bring us your car. We can actually tell you which clay bar is gonna be best for you, suited on your car, if we inspect it. So first off, we're going to do what's called a waterless wash. And so we have two types of waterless washes. We have a product called EcoSmart. It is a waterless wash with wax. And then we have a product here called Swift White. And this is a waterless wash with a sealant. So the sealant and the wax in the two waterless washes isn't meant to protect your car long term. It's just really in there to help provide lubrication, and also leave a nice high gloss shine when you're buffing your car up after you quote unquote wash it off. So definitely what we're going to do is we're going to do a waterless wash. So the way we do that is we're going to use 2 microfiber towels, and using microfiber towels, the type of the microfiber towel is very, very important. I know a lot of people out there don't have access to good quality microfiber towels because they're not readily available out at any normal store, or a big box store, an auto parts store, or a Costco or Sam's Club. The multi-packs that you buy at any of those big box stores, or the Costco's and Sam's, they're nice and soft, but I do not recommend using those on your paint surface, because they will immediately scratch the surface of your car. You want to use a microfiber towel that is a 70-30 blend. And what that means is it's 70% polyester, 30% polyamide. And the blend of those microfibers is very important. The towels you're going to get at a big box store are going to be 80-20, if not 85-15. And just because the blend alone is going to cause a scratch. So you definitely want to use good, high quality. All of the detail garages, all the chemical dyed towels are 70-30 blends. So it doesn't matter which towel you use, you're going to be guaranteed you're not going to be scratching your car. First step of method of doing a waterless wash is you got to have your product, and you got to have towels. So you're always going to use 2 towels. You're going to hear me refer to the 2 towel method all the time. So, and the reason why we use 2 towels is one you're going to clean with, one you're going to what we call finish with. So I'm going to demonstrate, and then I'll do half of it, and then you do the other half. Okay. So.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. The cool thing also about our microfiber towels is they come in a 16 by 16 inch size. It's a very, very unique size. And what you do is you fold it in half, and then you fold it in half again, so you make a quarter out of it. You technically have 8 uses out of this towel. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and when those towel sides get dirty, you flip it inside out, and you got 4 more sides. So definitely got a lot of uses out of your cleaning towel. And when you're finished with it, when you're, what I would call your towel, your cleaning towel is spent, you grab another towel and you start all over again. So the first thing is, you definitely want to make sure that you're not doing this in the sun. Doing it in a shaded area or cool area is more beneficial. And you definitely want to make sure that the surface isn't too hot. Now, Steve pulled in probably about 45 minutes ago. It's a little warm, but it's not too hot. And the reason is you don't want your wireless wash to dry on the car, because obviously it's not going to clean the car. The whole point of doing a wireless wash is you're going to whatever existing dust and everything, it's going to lift up into the product that you spray, and then the microfiber towels, when you take a microfiber towel and remove it, it goes up into the towel. We're not pushing the product or the dirt onto the surface, because that's what creates scratches. So the whole point of doing this is to lift the dirt and the dust up into the towel. So you take some product, and you're going to want to spray. And I'm just going to do the hood part here. So you want to put some on there. You want to let it sit for a couple seconds, because you want it to actually lift the dust and the dirt off the paint. And you're going to take your towel, and you're going to lay it flat on the surface. And as you're moving the towel across the surface, you are not pushing down on it. You're actually lifting the dirt off. So there's no pressure. You're just going to grab an end of the towel. And as you're gliding the towel across, you're rolling it. And what you're doing is you're lifting. Now, if this car was really, really dirty, you would see a big black line right there. And trust me, it'll be black. So I cleaned that part. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do another one. And because I'm using the same side of the towel, I don't see any dirt, so I can continue to keep going. But I'm going to rotate it over just in case. I'm going to get my last swipe over there. And then now, as you can see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not because of the angle, but there's still some residue on there, and that's just basically the wax and some leftover spray. There isn't any more dirt on the surface. And what you want to do is you want to finish with your finishing towel. You lay it flat, and in very fast motions, you want to kind of basically what most people say, buff it off. Now the key thing is the wax on, wax off thing. That is a Hollywood movie that does not exist in the detailing world. Everything we do is straight lines. So as you're removing on a wireless wash, straight lines. As you're finishing, straight lines. I don't care what direction on the finishing, just so long as it's straight lines and you're not doing the Mr. Miyagi. So definitely you can do this way, just so long as it's not circles, right? So I'm gonna let you have that. I'm gonna get you 2 fresh towels. So here's your wash towel. Here's your finishing towel. So you got your left hand or right hand. So you're spraying your left hand. That's your wash thing. So I have to lid. Another little swipe across the board. Now I'm going to put your bottle down so it's on in there, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to put the top flat. Press down on it, grab the edge of it. And as you're coming, I'm going to grab your fingers, rolling it up.
Oh, roll it up. That's it.
Yeah, so flip it over. Put your hand on top of mine. Not pressing down, you're just going to roll it up. Got it?
Got it.
Now you can finish.
Are those microfiber towels washable?
Yes, so as Steve's finishing up here, doing his wireless washer, as Steve's finished up, all microfiber towels are washable. We have a unique formula that we have. It's called microfiber wash. I do not recommend using any kind of laundry soap. Don't use Dawn dish soap, don't use a degreaser, don't use anything. I would recommend using something that's specific microfiber wash, and that is what we have. It's called microfiber wash. It looks like orange Kool-Aid. Don't drink it, but it's very, very concentrated. And you only need like 1 or 2 capfuls for a load of towels. It's going to create a lot of suds and a lot of wash. It's going to get your towels clean. It's going to rejuvenate the microfibers, and they're good to go. Our towels have been in here for 3 years. I personally have towels that I've had for almost 8 years. They're all great because I take really good care of them. Another important factor about cleaning, so little fast, straight lines. Then you can go back and forth, just like you would moving wax, just do a straight line. There you go. So when you put your towels in the dryer, do not apply any heat to them. Most dryers have an air-only setting. I do an air-only dry for about 30 minutes just to give them a tumble to rejuvenate the microfiber ends, and then I hang them up. If you apply heat to a microfiber towel, you're going to melt it. You won't know you melted the towel. But the way you'll know that you melted the towel is it won't absorb. So when you try to dry off your car, it just smears water everywhere. You've overheated your microfiber towel, and it can cause your car to put scratches on your car no matter what blend microfiber it is if you burn your towels. So that's how I do my towels. They last a very long time. Do towels wear out? Absolutely, they wear out. After over a period of time, towels just wear out. That's just the way things are. So I think we've got our hood washed, and now we're going to let's do some more finishing. Super fast that you're using the finishing towel. Okay. Get your cleaning full. Cool thing about Miatas, you can reach everything. You don't need a ladder. Baseball fiber. All right. So now we've got our surface nice and clean. It's ready to clay. So Steve, if you put your hand on your hood, I feel some grittiness. I also feel that you need some protection on this thing. If you feel some grittiness like sandpaper or a little bit of graininess, you need to have a clay bar. If you put your hand across your surface and it squeaks, you definitely need some protection on there. Okay?
Hey, Lynn.
Yeah.
Okay, we have one question that did come in, and that now that you've trained Steve to be an expert at this, we're wondering if we can contract Steve out to do everybody else's car.
There we go. We're gonna do everyone's car.
I have a new location.
So just so you guys know, again, I don't want to take away that this is all about Miatas. I have a Mini. I wireless washed my Mini for 3 years when I bought it. Never took a hose to it, ever. And I used a wireless wash the whole time. I used the Chemical Guys EcoSmart. So it's a great product. Wireless washing is a really great thing, especially here in Arizona. We don't have to worry about, the rain and everything, getting all the nastiness from the roads up on the car. It's just a matter of cleaning off dirt and dust. So that's that. So now we're going to clay the car. So keep your finishing towel with me. And what we're going to do is we're going to use an OG bar. And if you guys want to, I'm going to zoom in on this, Tim. All of our clay bars come in this brick. And it's literally clay. You can mold it, you can shape it, you can do whatever you want. And it has these pieces of mylar on this. And that's just so that, 2 things, it doesn't allow the clay to dry out, and B, so that it doesn't stick to the package. So what you want to do is, obviously to get the clay out of it, you got to peel back the mylar pieces. But you want to keep the mylar pieces because when you store it, you want to store it in between the pieces of mylar. Otherwise, it'll stick to the packaging. And I'll show you what it looks like. It'll look like this. And then you won't be able to get your clay out. It is reusable, guys. Clay bar is reusable. Now, if you're doing like paint overspray or doing some heavy contamination out, more than likely, you're going to use up the pieces of the clay bar you're using because you're going to get contaminants out. The number one question people are asking, like, well, if I'm removing dirt and contaminants out of my clear coat, isn't the clay going to be dirty? Yes, it is, but there's enough clay surface in here that it's not going to put scratches or put any more dirt back onto your surface. you don't want to use the whole bar. You want to pinch off a piece. So normally what you do is I just take this and I pull about a third of it off.
Hey, Lynn, we have one other question.
Yeah.
There's some of our members in their car have wrapped their cars with a clear wrap on top. Do they treat that as a painted surface?
You can. Now, the thing about using wrapped, treating a wrapped surfaces do get contaminated. But here's the thing, and I think I was talking to Mike about clear bras and clear wraps and everything. If it's a high quality clear wrap or bra from 3M or the Avery Dennison product, you're more than likely going to be able to treat it like you would a clear coat. If you had a cheaper brand, I don't recommend doing a clay bar on it because you might mar the surface. Now, when you're doing a clay bar on a clear bra on a wrapped surface, you're probably going to use a light clay bar and you're going to be very, very gentle with it because again, we don't want to mar the surface. So it is possible to treat wraps and vinyl stripes and everything, but you just have to have a mindset. Because once you, if anyone that has a wrap or anything, once you mar the wrap, it's tough, it's done, it's toast. Especially, I got vinyl stripes on mine. I have a clear bra on the entire front end of my car, and I do use a clay bar, but I use a light clay bar, and I'm very, very gentle with it. Just enough to get the contaminants out. The contaminants don't embed themselves into a clear bra or a wrap as much as they do on a clear coat. So you don't have to get that aggressive with it. And 9 times out of 10, if you're able to clean it off really well and it's not grainy or doesn't feel grainy, then you're good to go. But I always just like to do a light clay bar just for me, just for me. So what you'll do is you pinch off a piece. And the reason why we're going to take off a piece of the clay is if I drop this, it goes in the trash. It's gone, it's toast. Nothing you can do because the moment it hits the ground, it's going to have gunk in it, and you definitely don't want to put that back on the car. If I use the entire clay, then I don't have any clay left to clay my car. If I drop this, okay, trash it, go get me another piece, okay? And what you want to do is you want to mold it. I call them pancakes. So you want to mold it into a little pancake, enough for basically you can put 3 fingers on it, okay? Because this is what you're going to use on the surface is this side of the clay. Now the clay doesn't move without lubrication. Don't ever take a piece of clay to a non-lube surface because then you can scratch the surface if you try to do that. And I'm just going to very gently demonstrate it. I'm just setting that on there. Doesn't move. Actually, it's sticking. Okay. We don't want that to happen. So you got to have what's called clay lube. So clay lube is a special detail spray. It's not meant to clean the car. It's meant basically for clay lube. Can you use a detail spray? What's your pinkies there, Tim? Can you use a detail spray as clay lube? Absolutely. Just make sure your detail spray doesn't contain any kind of wax or sealant or any protection layers. If it's just a straight detail spray, like our chemical guys, extreme synthetic quick detailer or speed wipe, good to go on that. But I like using clay lube because it's clay lube. A lot of questions I get. I'm just going to clay as I wash the car. Well, first, the big no-no, because if you're trying to clay as you're washing the car's not clean. You're going to clay dirt on top of the surface, you're going to create scratches. And B, soap deteriorates your clay. Again, this stuff is reusable. I could probably, with the condition this Miata is in right now, he's going to have clay for a lifetime. He's probably going to replace clay in probably like 3 years, as long as he takes care of the clay and keeps it stored properly. Because it's in really good condition, it's not going to be that contaminated. So you're going to take your clay lube, you're going to spray some on the surface, spray some on your clay, and here's a trick too. Always keep your clay lube in one hand, your clay in the other hand, because you're going to be spraying and claying at the same time. So, ooh, look at that. Very smooth, very thin. Now you want to use, I use 3 fingers. And what you want to do is you want to just go back and forth, straight lines, remember, straight lines only, really fast motion. You do not need to press super hard. You're just basically rubbing the surface, and if you had a really contaminated car, it would feel gritty as you first started the clay, and then you would feel what we call breaking. And what happens is all the contaminants are being pulled out of the surface, and your clay would just glide smoothly across the surface. So that's all I'm going to finish. on that right there. When you're finished claying, you're just gonna take your microfiber towel and just wipe off the clay loop. You don't need to get fancy, you're just basically wiping off the clay loop and it'll evaporate and you're ready to go. Now,
Hey,
here's
Lynn,
yeah,
on the bar, you're using the yellow bar for a clean car? Or,
yellow bar for a car that has very minor contamination, whether I just bought it brand new or it just feels kind of gritty, it doesn't feel harsh. If it feels like 50 grit sandpaper or 100 grit sandpaper, you're gonna probably use a heavier clay bar. But it sounds like you guys take care of your cars fairly well. So an OG bar is pretty much gonna be okay for you guys. Again, if you bring your car up to one of our detail garages, we will tell you what type of bar you need if we can touch the surface.
and,
So-
and you have detail garages all over the valley, right?
Yeah, so I understand that this is a nationwide club as well. So
Yes.
there are at least 50 detail garage locations in various states. But here in Arizona, in the Phoenix area, I have one in Avondale, North Phoenix, and out here in Mesa.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay,
And
so
just to let the rest of our club members know that we will make sure that all of those addresses are posted and everybody has that.
great. So once you're finished, if you've never clay barred before, if you run your hand across the surface where you clayed and then run your hand across the surface that's not clayed, you feel a huge difference.
Oh, yeah. That's a big
It
difference.
feels glass smooth. So once you've clayed your surface, you can now it's ready to do paint correction. You can do glaze seal and wax, and I can guarantee you, once you put your final coat of wax on here, everyone thinks, oh, it's got a nice wax job because it feels nice and smooth. It's going to be 10 times. You'll never experience anything ever again, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, where has it been all my life? I first learned about clay lube about 15 years ago. Blew my mind. I've been doing this for 50 years. And I never knew about clay bar. And someone introduced me to clay bar and it just tripped my world and it makes 10 times better, not only for the surface of your car, the protection of your car, making it last longer, and it's gonna look 10 times better. A lot of times when you clay bar a car, it rejuvenates. It's not gonna get rid of oxidation or anything, but it definitely brightens up or it gives it another rich look to the paint because you've cleaned out the clear coat. You've removed the layer of gunk off your car. So I'm gonna give Steve the clay, but first what I'm going to show you too is after you've done half the hood, you're going to take your clay bar and you're going to make it into another little ball. And you're going to knead it. And you're going to knead it around, and then you're going to expose a new fresh side of clay. You don't ever want to take a clay bar that you've done part of the section to and go to another section because you want to mix all the contaminants back into the clay to reveal fresh clay. So every time you go to a new section, refresh your clay. So there's your clay, there's your clay lube. You can throw your towel on your windshield. So spray just a section. Feel how it cleans. Now, as you're clay barring, if you feel your clay bar sticking, it doesn't hurt to keep putting clay lube onto the surface. You can never overdo on your clay lube. You can always underdo, which means your clay bar is going to stick. So sweet, fast motions, short, fast motions. Another little trick that I learned is that, put your palm down. As you're clay barring and you got your palm on your car, as you're clay barring, you can feel the contaminants, and if you miss a spot, you can come back and get it. Now, he's got a ring on, I got a ring on. Just make sure the rings aren't touching the surface. Short, fast, don't ever, just be very, very generous with your clay. Just that's it. And again, you can always go back and re-clay lube. So I always like to, after I finish claying a section and I've wiped off all my clay lube, I always go back. People think I'm really weird, but we like our cars, we like to take care of them. I basically go and I just start touching my car. I just start running my hand all over, and if I feel a little section, I'm back and clay it again. And basically that's it. That's how you do clay lube. That's how you clay a car. Now, the surface is absolutely ready. It is ready. Feel it squeaky? Yeah, how squeaky that is? This surface definitely needs some protection. Because I can tell you guys right now, if you're doing a clay section or a clay step, You definitely have to do protection afterwards, because more than likely, there's no protection left on the car, or you remove what's already on there. So make sure that you put something on there afterwards. Are we doing on time? Doing good? All right. Any other questions about clay lube?
We should probably move on.
So go on out?
Yeah.
Okay. So, thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go outside. It's gonna be very hot. It's gonna be a little noisy. We'll have to put the power washer on. But we're gonna show you how to clean a convertible, fabric convertible top. So,
And to do this, we've got Mike Roberts' car. He brought it down from Surprise.
so let's go ahead and go outside.
It's really bright.
Yep. Hey, Tim, there's a question that somebody has about what are their thoughts on synthetic clay tools? After you clay, don't you need to correct the paint before you protect it?
Okay, I will ask that to Lynn when she comes back. I'm trying to get an angle on the car where it's we can see it because it's so bright out here.
That one's not too bad.
Okay. What else would be called? I like this color. Lynn, we had a clay bar question. Somebody asked if when you're done with that, should you do paint correction if needed?
That would be the first step.
Okay, the first step, if you needed it after clay barring, would be to take care of the paint correction.
What is Tim? It's gonna be a little noisy at first.
We also had a question to make sure that the window is down before we power wash it.
I couldn't hear you, Hope, once more.
Make sure that the windows are up before you power
Oh
wash.
yeah, Mike, your windows are up. Thank you, Hope.
Good catch.
Yeah, good catch.
Now, all you folks, if you don't have a machine like this, you're probably better off bringing it in here.
No. So you don't need a power washer. I just have to use a power washer because my hose doesn't reach out this far. So what we're going to do is those convertible tops. Sorry, Mike. This is a really, really bad condition. As you can see, it's a tan top, but it's basically been worn. As you can see, it's got the straight lines. Means he puts it down all the time, which is great. That's what convertibles are for. So Can you avoid getting the black lines? Just part of the wear and tear, especially on a tan top. On a black top, you really don't see it as much. But it's just wear and tear, but we can always keep it clean, and we can also protect it to keep it a little bit, basically, it's kind of like fabric guarding a convertible top. So first thing, obviously, we need to clean it. We have a great product. It's called Convertible Top Cleaner. It is a pH balanced cleaner for fabric cloth. If you had a vinyl top, you could use it too, or you can use an APC on a vinyl. It just really depends on how dirty it is, but it's still safe to use this on either vinyl or fabric tops. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the top wet, then we'll spray some of this on there, and then to clean a fabric, I don't recommend using any kind of a hard bristle brush, because we don't want to tear any of the fibers of the fabric, because the whole point of it is to keep it looking nice and conditioned and not snag. So I recommend using a horsehair brush. Any kind of horsehair brush will do. If you got a shoe shine polish brush that you shine your shoes, just make sure there's no polish in the brush. Especially on a tan top, we don't want to put black polish on a thing. But you know, you can always, we got horsehair brushes, and you can always get these, you know, anywhere as well. So I'm going to turn the machine on. It's going to be a lot of noise, so I don't know, Hope, if you want to mute anything or step back, but we are going to make some noise.
Yes.
All right. So, Mike, I'll show you how to do it, and then you can just work away. Now, given that this has been a fairly used top, it's not going to be a guarantee that all the black marks are going to come out, but it is going to brighten it up a bit and definitely get it clean so that we can protect it with some protection or keep it looking good. So. And always, just a quick trick, when you're washing a car, always wash from the top down. You never want to start at the bottom and wash up, always start from the top down. Same thing we're going to do. I'm just going to demonstrate how to do the clean here, but normally I would start in the middle and come out this way. But so we're not reaching everywhere. So basically, you're just going to spray some on there. I'm going to get my brush wet a little bit. And we just kind of want to work the solution into the top. Now don't worry if it's getting on the paint. This is pH balanced, but we'll rinse it off. But for anyone out there that's kind of wondering, oh no, water spots. I have DI water, you'll never get water spots. So again, you don't want to do this in direct sunlight. And you definitely don't want to do this when it's really, really hot. Because you don't want the soap drying on the, or even into the top itself. So like I said, it might not get all the black out, especially on this one. But I can tell you it's going to rejuvenate that tan back a little bit. Can we use a little stronger cleaner? Probably can. We do have a product called Lightning Fast. It's also a pH balanced cleaner that we use on carpets and upholstery. It's got strong stain extraction power to it. We might be able to use a little bit of Lightning Fast on here.
Yeah, look at the difference. Difference between here and here.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah, you can.
lighter paint.
It may not be real visible to the audience, but there is a definite change.
Yeah, you can see a line right here.
It's,
So like I said, what probably isn't going to get all these black marks out, but it definitely, see, I need to rinse it some more. There's some soap still left in there. But it definitely got a little bit more lighter tan. We're going to use, he's getting it. So we're going to actually try to use Lightning Fast to see how that works, because it is a stain extractor for carpets and upholstery. So, yep. So again, Lightning Fast, we can try that as well. And what I'm going to do here is I'm probably going to let it sit for a minute. Let it do its magic.
Any other questions, Hope, while we're waiting for that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there are some questions. What do you suggest to dust off a cloth soft top so that a dusty top should not be retracted?
Say that again?
What do you use to dust off?
Oh, what do you use to dust off? So like say you're going to go out for a drive, you want to put the top down, you got a layer of dust on it. I highly recommend using a detail spray, using like quick synthetic detailer or speed wipe, not anything that doesn't have a wax or sealant in it. You can do a light spray on a towel and you can wipe the dust off, and you don't have to worry about it crinkling up on you as you put it down. That's how I do mine at home, because I usually get a big layer of dust on my top. And I just basically, I don't soak the top with my detail spray. I usually put it on a towel and then wipe the top off.
So does that act as a little bit of a lubricant also when the cloth is flexing?
What do you mean? Oh, you mean, no, it has nothing to do with conditioning the top at all.
Okay.
Basically, we're just getting the dust off is what we're doing. The key thing is you don't want to oversaturate. But that's a really great question, because I do that all the time. I'm like, oh, am I going to put the top down? I'm like, no, there's too much dust. I'm not going to put it down. So.
Okay, then.
Another question is, how do you get lint off?
Lint off of what?
Okay, Tim, we're getting, I think you're getting far away.
Oh, okay.
You're freezing up. Damn. Hey, Tim, I think you're going too far from your Wi-Fi source.
I can't hear you.
Okay, we're getting it. The screen is locking up.
Screen is locking up? Okay, yeah, because my phone is getting pretty hot.
That could do it.
All right. Let's see if this did anything.
Oh, yeah, that's,
So again, one thing that I would also recommend that because of the condition of this top is you can always do extraction on the top. So you can do a steam clean with carpet, do a steam clean the product and out some of these black bars, especially because normally when you do a steam extraction on your carpet, everything comes clean. So doesn't mean you can't do that on a convertible top because it is fabric. So always approach first. That's kind of what we do here in the garage. Why would we go aggressive with the more least aggressive approach? So it did become somewhat clean, but it didn't get out all these black marks. Again, they might not even come. And it looks fantastic.
Hey,
Okay.
Tim,
Yes.
Tim, your screen is locking up and we're having some issues with this, so you may have to.
Okay, let's go in and wrap it up. We're just gonna go in
Okay.
and wrap it up. Just give her a big thank you and then we'll say.
So thing you might want to do is we got a product called convertible top protector. And that's something that for like once you get your top actually clean, or if it's a brand new top, definitely want to clean it. You can protect it with this. It's kind of like fabric guarding your convertible top. It is a process. It usually takes over an entire weekend. But Steve has invited me to add some stuff to the newsletter. So that might be one of the things that I cover is how to actually protect your convertible top, because it is a process. I've done it to mine. It works great. And it also keeps the color. It has UV protection and water protection.
Lynn, thank you so much.
You're very
for all
welcome.
your help today. And as Lynn mentioned, we're going to feature her in an ongoing detail article for the newsletter. So she'll have tips and tricks as we go along. And we may do a repeat with some other topics on a live session in the future as well. Thank you so much, Lynn. Thank you all. Hope you enjoyed it.
We have a
Yeah.
couple
If
of
anyone
questions.
has any questions, go ahead and throw the questions out and I'll answer them.
Before you leave, let's kind of go over a couple of quick questions.
Okay,
So, what cautions about using a power washer on a convertible top?
The caution is don't get the tip too close. First and foremost is the tip itself. Never use a tip that's smaller than 40 degrees. Always use a 40 degrees or greater angle tip, because you don't want a jet stream. You just basically want to wash. Now you saw me get pretty close, but you don't want to get super close because then you can't tear the fabric. But as long as you're using that super wide tip, you're good to go on it. Same thing on your vinyl wraps and your clear bras. As long as you're using that wide tip, don't ever get more than 12 inches, closer than 12 inches to the surface.
okay, another question?
Another question is, how do you get lint off?
I use one of those lint rollers that you do in laundry.
Oh, that's easy. Okay. Can you use a quick detailer that has no wax or sealant in it and a microfiber towel?
For what?
Just a basic cleaning, I think, is just like a,
As just a quick detailing, yes, you can. I do recommend cleaning the top periodically though, because remember, the top is going to collect the dirt and the dust and it's going to go into the top. And then of course, underneath the top is where it collects to run off the car. That's why you don't get wet inside the car. So you definitely don't want the dirt to settle in between those two layers. So giving it a good rinse every now and then. Do you have to use soap? More than likely, no, but it's always good at least once a year to give your top a really good cleaning and a good rinse, and then keep it, clean here and there after that.
okay. Are we good, Hope?
Yeah, well, the last question that we had is, what are your store hours?
So that's a great question. All of our store hours, we're open 6 days. Mondays, we're open 10 to 6. Tuesday through Saturday, we're 10 to 6. And on Sundays, we're 10 to 4. We are closed on Tuesdays. We all need a day off here and there. And we picked Tuesday as the best day to be able to give everyone a great amount of time to come into the stores during the rest of the week.
Cool.
That's cool.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
And just to
Bye
let everybody that's on the call know that our club has we have 9 prizes that we're going to be giving out. And I will be drawing randomly from all the people who have been here at the meeting. And we will get that, list the numbers and list the winners. So thank you for all joining.